Welcome to day 5 of the Black Knight Inspiration Challenge. Today, no whiteboard. But thank you to everyone for introducing yourselves and thank you for all the feedback. It's really great to get it every day. And like it's not, for everyone, it's your own journey, as I say, whatever feels comfortable for you to do. The Dark Night yesterday, it's quite challenging, quite challenging to look into your shadow and meet the dark night. But there's some great benefits. It frees up a lot of energy that you can use in the rest of your life. That bag, if you can take that bag and embody it, you get a real boost of energy. And also it releases a lot of stress. So you're not kind of that anxiety, that stress about, because in your energy, in your psyche, you realize, that you've repressed, you've got all this energy behind that's not conscious. So that releases a lot of stress when you take it out and make it conscious. So really stick with it, stick with that process. Today we've got a great topic, confidence. And it's phenomenal because, it comes from the Latin con fides, which is with faith. And there's nothing religious about this. It's just faith. It's a deep faith in the universe. Now, this topic, as I said yesterday, is part of the roots of the tree. So for the Black Knight, it's part of your roots, rooted into the ground. So the faith has to be really solid within you. So what I wanted to do today was just give you 2 stories from my own life and where that, faith, that rooted faith came from my own experience. So I was writing my book Custodians, and which is about interconnectedness, interconnectedness of the world, of the universe, where we are and where we are and exist in that interconnected world. And I came across a piece of research about nature, that in Africa, there's a place called the Baudelaire Depression. Now I'll include this in the notes, so you'll be able to look it up yourself. A place called the Baudelaire Depression, and it's a depression. It's an ancient lake. It used to be like Lake Chad, which was full of water, but over the millennia the water dried up, and you've ended up with a dry lake bed. And 2 times a year, the winds funnel through this depression and they swoop down between 2 mountain ranges. It's really, the whole thing is incredible. The winds come in 2 times a year and they swoop down into the depression and they swoop up the dust from the lake bed up into the atmosphere. Yeah? Now it's in Africa, Northern Africa, and so once that dust goes up into the atmosphere, like it could get dispersed anywhere really, if we think with our logical minds, like where is it going to go? It could just get dispersed. It's a load of dust, big dust cloud, and then it could go any direction. From Africa it could go across to Asia, it could go over to South America, go north or south. But actually the way the winds blow at these times of the year, the dust cloud actually heads across to South America and gets rained down on the Amazon, on the rainforest in the Amazon. Okay, now follow me on this. Right? So I'm reading this research, and it says that the Amazon is actually nutrient poor. I thought because the Amazon is lush, I thought it was full of nutrients, but actually it's nutrient poor because in the rainy season, the rains wash all the nutrients out of the rainforest, and so it's nutrient poor. So this dust that gets rained down comes over from Africa, gets rained down on the rainforest, on the Amazon, is full of nutrients. And actually, because it's been a lake bed, Lake Chad, it's made up of fish bone because the fish have died and dropped to the end of the lake, and it's made up of fish bone. So what's the dust that's raining down on the Amazon has got fish bone in it, which is really perfect for the rainforest, for the trees and the plants. It's incredible. This is twice a year, and so scientists saw on satellite images, they saw this dust cloud. So they were like, what's going on with this dust cloud? And then when they investigated, they saw where it was coming from and where it went across, and it dropped down on the Amazon rainforest. And they studied what was in the dust and what was happening. It was like at each point, it was like, this is incredible. This is incredible. Now, in our random, minds, we go random. That's just random, something that came up. But like, come on, like you've got, dust that goes up, could go anywhere. No, it goes across, gets rained down. The Amazon is nutrient poor, and this dust gives it exactly what it needs twice a year. It's almost like what you do with your own plants. You're watering, putting in nutrients. It's really incredible for me. This is the interconnectedness that just happens, naturally as part of, the universe, of nature, how nature connects it all together. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'll put the notes where that is in Africa. So continuing on from that, I'm writing my book about interconnectedness. Obviously finding things like the Baudelaire Depression. And online, I see this image of galaxies that scientists have found that actually the galaxies are interconnected. And there's an image of the interconnectedness of the galaxies. And I'm going like, oh my God, like, hold on a minute. Are you telling me? Because I would have thought, planets, galaxies, they're all separate. So to actually find out that the interconnectedness that I'm seeing in things like the Baudelaire are actually reflected out into the galaxies being interconnected. I need to include this in the book. I need to include this in my book. So what had happened was, when scientists were looking out at the galaxies, a quasar had exploded behind a group of galaxies, and it shone a light and projected a light onto the galaxies, and these hydrogen filaments had shown up. So normally they don't see the hydrogen filaments because it's dark, but because this quasar had shone the light behind the galaxies, they actually saw all the hydrogen filaments that were linking all the galaxies together. So photograph's incredible, and I'll include the photograph in the notes, what you get as well. So I just had to include this in the book. It's interconnectedness, galaxies interconnected. So as you know, like when you're getting the book published, you need to get the permission of to include the photograph of the person who took the photograph. So when I looked at the bottom of the photograph, I saw the name S for sugar, S Cantalupo. Okay, S Cantalupo. Now, the image of the galaxies was taken with a telescope in Hawaii. So I thought, okay, that's Hawaii, and the person S Cantalupo, when I looked him up, he was in university in California. So I thought maybe he might be South American or Mexican. So I emailed him, and I described, I'm writing a book on interconnectedness. I found your image online, and it's incredible for me to see that the galaxies are interconnected. I'd love to include your image in my book if I could, if I can get permission. And then I had to describe about the book. I said, I'm writing it as an Irishman in southern Italy. I'm getting the book published in the Cilento, which is the local area. And the village where the publishers are based is called Oliastro. Okay, so I just told him the story so he'd understand, and I sent off the email. So a day or two later, I get this email back from him. Okay, so S. Cantalupo is Sebastiano Cantalupo, and he says to me in the email, he says, I'm not quite sure you realize all the interconnectedness, yeah, all the interconnections. And I'm looking at the email going, what is he saying? So Sebastiano Cantalupo, for me, who's in university in California, and the telescope is in Hawaii, and it's taking a photograph of the galaxies out there. He says, I'm actually Italian. So he's Italian. He's now studying in Zurich, in Switzerland. And he says, I was actually born, okay, ready for this? I was actually born in Oliastro, the village where your book is being published. And I'm like, what? What? That doesn't, I'm out in the galaxies, California, Hawaii. All of a sudden he's going, whew. He's Italian. He actually was born in the village where I'm getting my book published. And you know, what I'm researching and what the book is all about is interconnections, you know, interconnections. And Sebastiano says, as is Italian, that he comes home twice a year to visit his parents in Oliastro, and he asks, it'd be lovely to meet for a pizza. I'm going, what? This is like to really meet the person for a pizza. S. Cantalupo at the end of the image. You know, it's the interconnection. You get to meet for a pizza. And we did. We met in Agropoli, which is a village beside Oliastro, where his parents are from, and we had a pizza and an amazing conversation. And then he came over to Tortorella, where I live here. So it's you know, beyond. It's just incredible to feel the interconnectedness alive in your experience, you know. And I know our minds wants to say, you know, the randomness and all, you know, no, you know, we really have to, you know, for me, it's our life experience. And I know you would have these experiences in your life. You would have experiences that, you know, don't make sense they're not linear, they're not literal, they're not these, you know, things that we can say. It's just incredible that it's all connected. So for me, you know, when we look at confidence, the roots of our confidence, confides can be with faith, which is, we can sometimes think faith is belief. But for me, faith is not belief. I have faith in the universe exactly because of these examples. The Baudelaire, the dust that comes from the Amazon and comes from the Africa and goes across and gives the Amazon exactly what it needs. You know, this is faith in the process, faith in what's happening, faith that it's all being looked after. The same with Sebastiano in, you know, California, looking at the galaxies, is in a village beside me and then meets for a pizza. This is faith. So it's not a belief for me. You know, I know. I don't believe, I know. I know that I'm seen. I know that I'm supported. You know, how could you not? That's just evidence. It's evidence that you know, I emailed, I connected, I met the person. These are the connections that are just in the now. They're here, you know, they're real. So that makes me, that's the faith that is rooted to me. It's a no. I know. I don't have a belief. To me, it seems to be something like, oh well, you could believe, but it's not. Is it true or not? It's a belief. You just believe out of faith. I don't. I know. So the confidence that I'm talking about here today from these stories is that support of the connectedness. The Amazon isn't like a red knight going around trying to do, trying to get love and validation. It just is the Amazon, but you know, it knows it twice a year the dust is rained down, the nutrients are rained down on a twice a year. So it's like it just knows. So really incredible stories. And as I say, I'll put them in the notes for you for today. So let me hear all the feedback, and that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow for day 6. Ciao for now.